So what's the big secret that no furniture store salesman will ever tell you, but you need to know the answer to before you shop for leather furniture, is about the quality of the leather. I'm not saying that furniture store salespeople are going to try to deceive you. Most of the time they just don't know about the quality of the leather. When you're buying leather furniture, you want to make sure your furniture is top grain aniline dyed leather. And only 15% of all leather furniture sold in the United States is top grain aniline dyed leather. The other 85% is an inferior product, some of it a very inferior product, and it won't last very long. So let's start with what's top grain aniline dyed leather. Top grain means it's the top surface of the hide where the hair was. Aniline, and that's the strongest part. Aniline dyed means the color has been put into the leather in the drum, so the color goes all the way through. So what's that mean to you? It's going to be strong, so it'll last a long, long time. You can expect 20, 30 years of use of a piece of leather furniture made with a top grain aniline dyed leather. And if you scratch it up, it's going to be the same basic color underneath, so it's going to look good for many, many years. So what's the other type of leather furniture out there? There's a lot out there today, especially most of the stuff that comes from China is going to be a combination of top grain on the surface and splits on the outside arms and outside back. So what's the split? If you take the hide and split off the bottom part that's not very strong, glue a piece of plastic to the top of it and finish it, that's the split. So how can you tell if the furniture is a combination of top grain and split? Go up and look at the piece of furniture. If the grain on the outsides of it looks different than the grain on the inside, it feels different, that's a pretty good indication that it's probably split, if the leather doesn't match overall. So besides that, where do we go from there? The next thing that's used commonly in the United States today is called die-cast leather. And what that is a split that has had a piece of plastic glued to it, and then it's finished generally very shiny, so it looks like a real old world leather, and that's used overall on a piece of furniture. With that, it's pretty inexpensive, and therefore you'll only get a few years of use out of the furniture. Now the thing that goes from there that is very inferior is called bonded leather. What bonded leather is they take leather scraps, grind them up, glue them together and glue them on a piece of fabric, and then put a piece of vinyl on top of it and finish it. That's a very inferior product that will not last very long at all. Now on top of that, sometimes the leather furniture is made leather where the body touches and vinyl on the outsides of it. That's very easy to tell because the vinyl will look different than the leather. And also, if it's great big pieces with no seams in it, then that's going to be vinyl on the outside. It's real easy to tell. So how can you tell also if the furniture is a top grain aniline dyed leather? Pull the cushions off the furniture, unzip them. The color should be basically the same on the back side as the front. That's a good indication that it's going to be top grain aniline dyed leather. On top of that, here's another thing to do. If furniture is, well, you can say, how can I look at the furniture where the cushions are sewn in? Well, if the cushions are sewn in, I think that's indicative of the quality of the product, that the manufacturer was trying to be as economical as possible on building the product. So if they made the cushions where they're sewn in where you can't really look at it, then I would be suspect and not necessarily, I wouldn't even buy that product because you can't change the cushions out anyway. So at the Luxury of Leather, we use 100% top grain aniline leather on all of our furniture, and we use it for everything. We use no lesser products than that. So where else can you go find a top grain aniline dyed leather piece of furniture? If you stick with the leather specialty stores such as us, or you go to a high-end furniture store, you'll get it. If you go anywhere else, especially if the product is made in China, you're almost certain that it's going to be an inferior product. So what do you want? You want 100% top grain aniline dyed leather, and now you know how to distinguish the difference yourself.